The federal government backs a large percentage of home loans. We all know the names: Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, FHA, VA, USDA. The shutdown affects the agencies backing those loans in different ways. It is adding stress to the process of buying a home.
They're nervous about closing times, meeting their closing dates on the houses. Down payment assistance was a concern, but not anymore as of right now. Some clients that are looking at USDA loans are kind of just holding off until they find out what's going on.
However, it also seems, despite the partial government shutdown, most home sales in Oklahoma are going forward.
The closing dates seem to be okay. Lenders are meeting the time periods that need to be met. Like I said, the USDA loans, those are, I think, of the biggest concern because that's really affected by the government shutdown.
VA loans were initially affected by the shutdown. It changed the mind of at least one potential home buyer who decided to push away from buying a home in Oklahoma City.
Needless to say, they decided to rent instead of buy. But first they called me, it was a referral out of Tulsa, and they were gonna purchase a home. But then once we chit-chatted a little bit and looked at a few homes, I think he got scared. One, he's VA, and he's just like, it's gonna take too long and I need to be in something quick.
While this is one story, the shutdown doesn't appear to have impacted buyers' appetites in Oklahoma.
And the market's still going. We're out showing, and I think it's doing well. For the winter months, I got buyers in my hand right now saying, okay, we got to make sure we find a house.
Lenders are still able to get mortgage loans approved through most of the federal government backers, with a couple of notable exceptions.
Starting out with like FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all of those loans, they are all computer-based. And so they're basically just operating as normal. You've got, though, two types of loans that actually have human interaction with them where they have to physically do something, and those are USDA loans and Native American loans.
Those two loan types are shut down. For the most part, things in the home buying business are going forward somewhat.
For example, I have a closing that won't happen on Friday, and it has nothing to do with the loan, but the seller has an IRS tax lien on their house that we can't get released to get a clear title. And so that loan isn't closing, but it's not because of his loan type, it's because of other issues inside the system that can't be fixed.
Even as the IRS gets back to work, it will still take some time before things normalize.
And so with the IRS, though, coming back partially online, then you still have a backlog because it's been shut down since whatever day that was. So you've got, 3 weeks of backlog of work that they'll just have to work it in order.
An FHA database, which holds information about people who have become delinquent with federal debt, hasn't been updated since the shutdown. That could lead to issues down the line for lenders.
We still run everyone through that system, but if our file was audited down the line, then they may have been put in there after the government opens back up, but it may be after we've closed it and we have something that says that there's no problems. So it'll be a problem if a lender were to get audited.
Jolynn Craig is concerned about federal workers who aren't receiving a paycheck, especially if the government shutdown continues. If it does linger, it could affect future home buying, especially for federal workers and contractors who aren't receiving a paycheck right now and can't pay bills.
They don't have the money to pay them, so they get dinged on their credit here in January, but they had planned on buying a house in March. Well, 3 derogatories like that on your credit can lower your score by at least 100 points.
Which would push people who qualify now for a home loan out of qualification. The Department of Veterans Affairs has issued guidance which could help those with VA loans and who are not being paid due to the shutdown.
They've taken the lead, I guess you could say, on that and already issued out some things. They also issued in that same memorandum to tell servicers, don't mark anybody late if they call you and tell you, I don't have a paycheck this month because I'm on furlough.
While finding a loan for a home isn't drastically affected by the government shutdown yet, it could lead to problems in the marketplace itself.
The market on interest rates react to fear or, what people think might be happening, And right now, I do think that there is quite a bit of fear out there with this deal. But it's like, the last one was 21 days. It will come to an end.
The longest government shutdown in history was 21 days under President Bill Clinton. The current shutdown appears to be headed to break that record.